Hello guys, our today's topic is going to be very interesting because we get a lot of question from the beginners on 10 most common question every data science beginner should know. Okay, this video is all about that only. At the end of this video, you will understand the real roadmap of data science, you will avoid the most common beginner mistake, and you will feel motivated and clear about how to start. Don't forget to subscribe our channel because when you see our channel or our video as a practical readable guide, you will understand that we are not only a textbook speaker. So let's start the video. Now everyone wants to become a data scientist, but most beginners starts with confusion, too many tutorials and no clarity. Today, I'm going to answer 10 most common questions every beginner asks. The same question even I had when I started, right? And I guarantee you that by the end, you'll have 80 to 90% of a clear roadmap to kickstart your journey in data science in a very smart way. Okay? I'll try to keep my tone very friendly, conversational, like we're talking to our younger brothers or younger sisters, right? Let's move ahead in our slide. So what is unlocking the power of data science? So data science is nothing, you all know, but it's an art of uncovering raw data into meaningful insight and predictions, right? So what we do, we use raw data and we convert the raw data into meaningful insight. It is called data science. What are the real world examples? You might see Netflix, you might see a lot of movie, you might see bank approving your loans and Spotify building your playlist. Everything happens with data science. What data science does? It combines a basic mathematics with programming language and business understanding to solve the right problem. So without any of these three, solving a data science problem will be a little bit tricky. Means you should know a little bit of maths, a little bit of programming and a good business standing to solve the data science problem. Imagine yourself as a detective, okay? So data is the crime scene, stat is your magnifying lens, and programming is a toolkit. And then business, they provide the context, the motive of the crime, right? And you as a detective will solve the problem. So data science is about solving mysteries using the data. What are the mysteries? Why my sales are down? Why my sales are up? Why my product are not being sold? So all these things collaboratively create a business problem and you as a data scientist will solve these problems. Okay, I hope I made myself very clear. Let's move to the next slide. Now when we move to the next slide, just a second. Now when we move to the next slide, I'm not sure what is happening. Yeah, so let me raise it also for you quickly so that you can easily understand the next one, what I'm trying to say. Pardon me, give me just 30 seconds to remove this. Yeah, it's done. So the first question, what does a data scientist actually do, right? What does a data scientist actually do? So data scientists actually, they understand the business problem. Initially, they try to understand the business problem. As I said, what can be the business problem? Why my sales are going down, or why I'm not able to sell enough number of loans, or why I'm not able to sell grocery items or electronic items or anything, right? How you will solve the problem? Because all these problems are related to data only. So how you'll solve the problem? You will collect the data and clean the data because the data will come in many formats, right? So once you collect the data and clean the data, you'll be able to create a data in tabular format which the machine can easily understand, right? Once the data is collected, you will analyze the pattern. The data is going like this, or your sale is going like this, or your sale is going like this, correct? Or maybe your sale is going completely downwards, or like this, or like this. Any of the trend the data can follow. After that, you will build the model. Why I'll write y is equals to mx plus c because it's a very basic formula. based on some kind of formula or based on some kind of algorithms you will build and test your model, and then you will do the analogy. So what is the analogy? Just imagine yourself as chef. You have raw ingredients, which is called data. You clean veggies, called data cleaning. You mix and taste, model building, and then you present the result to the leadership, right? So in a very simple term, when the problem occurs, a data scientist collect and clean the data, they analyze all the pattern, they build and test the model, and then they present the finding to the leadership so that they can understand what have actually happened. So if your boss has asked you why my sales are going down, if you have presented the data in the right format, they'll be able to understand what is happening, and then they can take the corrective actions, right? I hope I made myself clear. Let's move to the next slide. Now the next question is, do I need to be a math genius? Do I need to be a math genius for data scientist? I would say no. The answer is a clear-cut no. Don't need to be a math genius. You need to be comfortable with logical math only. Okay? What will happen if this will happen? Something like that, if and else, with probability, with inferential statistics, right? Important topics like basic algebra, probability, linear statistic, linear algebra, and calculus. Calculus is basically for ML and not deep learning initially, right? Then you understand why mean and median differ with skewed data. This is example of statistic, correct? Also, you should understand something. So this is example of statistic, right? There can be many examples. So what I'm trying to say, that inferential statistic is very important for you rather than knowing entire mathematics. Okay, going to the next sample. Know what a p-value mean without having to derive formulas, right? So what is the tip? Learn math through data example and not just theory books, correct? What is the probability of a coin when you throw the coin? What is the probability of head or tail coming? So what is the probability? It is 0.5, right? So try, because it has head or tail. The probability of head coming 1/2 and the probability tail is 1/2, correct? So what I'm trying to say, that rather than knowing entire mathematics, you should know and you should learn mathematics by data, because becoming a math genius will take ages. But if you understand inferential statistic and basic probability with sample, with how to create sample, how to take inference out of it, will give you a clear edge over others, and you will become at least ready to learn data science in a more granular way. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So another question which we get from our students, that what should be our first programming language? It should be Python or it should be R? I would say it's a very important question, because both the language have been very famous in the market right now and very potent also in terms of getting the output. But if you ask me, my suggestion would be go with Python first, right? Why? Because it is extremely beginner or user friendly and used in mostly 80 to 9% of data science jobs, right? So my clear-cut answer would be Python. Start with Python, maybe then you can go to R. Okay, so now Python libraries such as Pandas, which used for data analysis, NumPy, sklearn, which we used for model building, and matplotlib, which will be used for visualization, are very easy to execute and very easy to learn. Okay, now if I say your manager asks, make me understand the sales data. What is sales data? Using Pandas, you can easily analyze the data, right? And you can use sklearn to build model, and then matplotlib for creating beautiful charts, something like that, or maybe any kind of bar graphs, line graphs, any kind of graphs you can create using the matplotlib library. right? So Python is nothing but basically a very preferred language for beginners, because it's not only easy, it gives us a lot of libraries to deal with data and to make a lot of sense out of data in a very easy manner, right? So my answer would be Python here. Okay, uh, let's move to the next slide now. Now, what tools you need to master for your data journey? Okay, so I would suggest start with basics, fundamentals, because you cannot become a master in a day. I would say start with the fundamentals and then spice up the advanced framework and dashboards, right? So if I say data storage, why data storage is important? Because data is basically the oil for your vehicle, right? Oil for your model. So if you don't store the data, you won't be able to extract any insight out of it. So for data and storage, you need Excel and SQL. I would recommend SQL because Excel does not hold a lot of data, but for beginner, Excel can be fine, but you need to know SQL also. What is the programming language you should know? The programming language, as I said initially, also Python. Then for analysis, you should understand pandas and numpy. Then for visualization, you should understand matplotlib and seaborn. And for tools, so matplotlib and seaborn are libraries, and Power BI and Tableau are two tools which help you analyze the data in a very niche and clean way. Okay, they are I think they are paid, but they have their own free version also. You need to check on the internet. Last I remember, Power BI has a 60-day license free, and same with Tableau, a 60-day public license free. So it is enough for you to learn and understand the visualization part of these two tools. Then the machine learning, you have scikit-learn and TensorFlow, these two libraries. And then for deployment, you can use Streamlit, Flask, AWS. So Streamlit and Flask are free. AWS also gave a free account to students for some basic work. So you can start with Streamlit and Flask, and then you can also go ahead with free plan of AWS. I'm not sure if it is still available or not, but when I was moving ahead with my data science journey, I definitely got some free credit from AWS. I think it was student credit, right? So this is the answer for you, very clear, crisp in the table. Data storage, Excel and SQL. Programming, Python. Analysis, pandas and numpy. Visualization should be matplotlib and seaborn in terms of libraries, and Power BI and Tableau in terms of tools, right? Then for machine learning, you need scikit-learn and TensorFlow, and for deployment, you will need Streamlit and Flask. Streamlit for Flask and AWS. I would go ahead with Streamlit and Flask because it is easily available. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. Now, very important thing. Before applying for any job, you should have a very strong portfolio for yourself, because the recruiters will see what you have done in your free time. Okay, so you need to build your data portfolio without a job. How? It is very easy. You can use, now you'll ask, where is the data? You can use public data. Public data is easily available. You can use that data, create the storytelling to showcase your skill and get noticed in the eyes of recruiters or the hiring managers. Now, you don't need company data. Okay, you don't need company data. Public data and storytelling are enough. So data.org, I think Kaggle, okay, it is written over here, Kaggle, data.gov, all these sources are free. You can download data from there and create your own journey, user storytelling, which will help us or help the recruiters in understanding what is your starting level in the data, right? Then ask a real world question like, what affect the house price? The Bangalore house price prediction is a very important, I would say very common use case. You can download the data from Kaggle and try to solve it using algorithms, right? So if you can solve that problem, you'll be able to grasp at least one algorithm which is called linear regression. Pardon my writing right now. I don't know why my pen is not working, but you can learn linear regression using this data. What you can also do, you can clean, visualize and analyze the data, any data which is there on Kaggle and data.gov. Okay. Then when you create some kind of basic project, present the finding in a Jupyter notebook or Power BI or Tableau or Excel, any dashboard, right? Because raw data is of no use. When you clean it and create dashboard out of it, it helps the recruiter or hiring manager to understand your capabilities with data. Once it is ready, post your result on LinkedIn or GitHub with a short write-up that what was the problem statement, what you did to solve the problem, also how you achieved the desired results, right? Means, just take an example, you have taken Netflix data analysis and you have shown what are the popular genres by country so that you can get noticed frequently. So maybe let's take an example. You created a dashboard which say in USA action movies are famous, in India romantic plus comedy movies are famous, maybe in Europe thriller movies are very famous, and maybe in I think Southeast Asia again action movies are very popular. So you can, what I'm trying to say over here is, you can use any data set and build your story in such a way that a recruiter can easily understand what you were trying to do with this data, how you have framed the business problem, and then how you have solved that problem using your skill set, right? So again, I'll repeat, you don't need company data. You can just go and take the free data which is available in Kaggle and data.gov. You can pick a data set from there. You can ask a real world question like Bangalore house price prediction, or I would say Netflix data analysis. You can clean the data, visualize it, analyze it, create a story, post it on LinkedIn or a GitHub platform, and then recruiter will start noticing you immediately. Trust me, that is a proven methodology, right? Cool. So let's move to the next slide now. Now, a very important question which we get: how data role drive business insight and automation, right? Very important question, because every company seeks people like you to come to their company and start driving the business insight and automation, right? So there are three roles in the company. Okay, so what are the three roles? One is data analyst, one is data scientist, one is ML engineer. So what data analysts do? Data analysts do the descriptive statistics, means they try to understand the past, and they are called mostly reporter, who reports the data in its nutshell or in the format which they are present in a very insightful way. So they try to understand what happened in the past, right? The data scientist, the hero of the firm, they predict the future. They're like astronomer who see the data, who see the pattern and try to predict the future. They work like a detective, find the pattern in the data, and then they try to predict the future, right? And then the ML engineer, they automate the future. ML engineer, they deploy the model, they implement the CI/CD pipeline. CI/CD means continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline. They integrate the model with the data. They make sure that your model is available with and integrated with product and giving result in the real time, right? So there are three roles: data analyst, who understand the past, report the data; they are data scientists, who read the features, who read the past, try to predict the future like a detective; and then there's ML engineer, who keeps the entire software engineering or the machine learning engineering in place and make sure that the data and the model results are available on the product to use, right? Now you might think, what is the best role for me? So I would recommend that whatever the best role is, you'll be able to understand when you'll start understanding and reading the content. Once you'll start reading the content and doing the practice, you might decide that in which bucket I fall in. I fall in the reporter bucket, or in the detective bucket, or in the engineer bucket, right? So all three streams are extremely useful. It's up to you what you want to become and what your interest area is. Okay guys, I hope this slide was very clear. Let's move to the next one. Now, very important thing, what you can avoid initially, right? What you can avoid being a beginner and then learning machine learning. So I have seen folks that they jump directly to machine learning before learning statistics. You will not be able to succeed in machine learning zone if you don't learn basic inferential statistics, because machine learning is all about combining maths, programming language, and business understanding, right? So this is very important and P0 for you. Priority O. Second, learning many tools but not solving real problems. A company will not be happy even if you are technically very smart. If you are not able to solve their business problem, you are of no use to them, right? So it is again very important that while you are learning some tool, P1, priority 1, you're learning some tool, but you should be also able to solve the business problems, right? Again, I have seen data scientists, data analysts, or ML engineer, they ignore the business context behind project. Why the problem has been there, why we started the project, what problems we are trying to solve, and what metric my model will cover. If you don't have the answer to these questions, you might not be able to impact in the organization the right way. Then not documenting projects properly. If you don't document, it will be very difficult for you, because machine learning life cycle is big. It's of 2 to 3 months. If you don't document anything, and then it will become very difficult for you to go and refer what you have done in the first week of the project, right? One very common mistake, people take notebook from Kaggle and directly try to implement it in production in the organization without even understanding what that code is doing, and then their code does not work. Even if it works, it gives variance and bias in the model result, right? So the result is biased or vary a lot where it should not have done such things, right? Now, very important, and the last topic in this slide, that you need to pick one small project. Explain it like teaching a friend, focus on clarity or fancy algorithm. I always say to the beginners, pick Bangalore house price prediction. Once you build it, if you are able to detect or predict the price of houses in Bangalore, try to explain to your friend or teach to your friend in a very layman language. I always say, if you are not able to explain the data science concept to a 7-8-year-old boy or a girl in a very layman language, you won't be able to explain it to leadership, because data science is technical thing. If you're not able to describe it to a small kid and make him or her understand, I don't know how you will be able to explain it to senior leads, because they are business folks. They don't understand every technical jargon which you speak. That's why you need to be able to teach people like a friend over there, right? This is the very important slide which we just went through. Now, another question, and we are towards the last leg of our slides. How long to become a data scientist? So I would say basic Python, stats, and SQL, you need at least 3-4 months, because this is the most important thing. As I said, we need 3 things. We need statistic, we need Python, we need programming language, and business context. So for tool, you need at least 3 to 4 months of basic Python, stat, and SQL. So Python means the programming language, SQL means the querying language, stat means basic mathematics. Then do some project and visualization in 2 to 3 months. Then create machine learning project and build your portfolio in next 4 to 5 months. So overall, you will be able to become job ready person in 10 to 12 months. And this is, I'm saying, when you study 2 hours a day, not more than that. So if you're studying 2 hours a day and spending this much time, you'll be able to penetrate the job market with a huge confidence, right? So to repeat myself, we'll share the slide with you. It is there in the video itself. So you need to have at least 10 to 12 months. But if you have more zeal, more enthusiasm to learn, you can finish in 6 to 8 months as well. Correct? I hope I made myself very clear. Now, the last slide. Stay motivated, guys, when data science gets tough, because what are the challenges you will face? The most important challenge, which I think and most crucial, is model fail. Model fails in the first time. Generally, it fails. error persists, they don't go, and math can feel a lot difficult than you have initially thought of. But the only way to come out of this is be consistent, keep on trying, right? Focus on outcome and not perfection. If you think that okay, I'll become perfectionist and understand one algorithm end to end, it is not going to help organization, because always focus on outcome, celebrate small wins. If you have automated one report or were able to understand why sales have gone down in last 3 months, celebrate these wins, pat on your back and say, okay, one challenge done, next go to the next challenge, right? Learn in public. Learn in public means you need to share your progress online for community support. What happens when you start sharing, people start sharing their ideas also. Remember your why data science is problem solving and not just the coding. As I always say to all the junior folks, that you are not here to only learn. Yes, you need to learn, but not only learn. That we are here to solve actual business problem with your data science skills, right? And the person who understood this, they are doing really, really well, right? Let's take one example: healthcare model saving lives. If I have just imagine in my class, one student is Rohan, and he says that I want to understand the logistic regression model end to end. I will go as deep as possible, but his model is not able to save one life or not able to save just one use case, then his model is useless, right? To be very honest, I'm not saying this to dishearten you, but always remember, business outcome is very important because it weighs your intelligence to some KPIs, right? At last, remember, data science is not just a career, it's a mindset. You turn chaos into clarity. What is chaos? The data which is there in a messy format, it is called chaos, into clarity, into reports, and then you do one data set at a time, so that the data gets clean, it gives some kind of insight, and business get a lot of input from that, and then they can take derivative action if something goes horribly or even a little bit wrong, right? So guys, this was our video for today. We tried to cover the top 8-10 questions which data science beginner always ask. If you have any doubt, I would recommend please put it in the comment box. We reply usually in 30 minutes to 1 hour, and we'll try to solve all your problems. Okay guys, so this is the video for today. In the next one, I think one of my colleague will present the GenAI use case, and I will present the statistic use case in a more detailed manner. Until then, stay tuned. I hope you understood, and please subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. Have a great day ahead.